Hey everyone, this is GM with a slightly different video. Today marks the 1-year anniversary of the first video review I uploaded. So I thought that maybe it was time for a different type of video, and especially for this occasion. So what I've done today is I've made a comparison video of 4 gaming keyboards. All of them were under 30 bucks the day of the video the day I released this video. So the reason I'm showing gaming keyboards under $30 is because they're more affordable. However, that doesn't take away from how great they really are. So to begin, let's go with the individual prices. I actually have them in order of increasing price as you go up. So I did this so you'll be able to remember as we go through more of the features. The prices are based on the day the video was made, so there might be fluctuation from the price the day you view this. So first off, I'm going to go over what each keyboard brand is. This one right here is Woddo, then we've got Hcman, then we have DBPOWER, and then we have SportsBot in the very back. So for the prices as they go up, we have the Woddo keyboard, which is $22.99, Hcman, which is $27.99, DBPOWER, which is $29.99, and the SportsBot is $29.99 as well. I know for most people the price is really important. However, since all of these are relatively close price points, it really comes down to the features themselves. So now for the first feature, which is the backlights. As you can see, they all have backlights, however they vary. So the SportsBot only has one, it is the blue backlight. The DBPOWER has 3. It has the red, blue, and purple. The Woddo is a little bit better, it has 7. So I'm going to go ahead and go through them. There's green, blue, yellow, light blue, purple, white, and red, and then back to green. So that's 7. Hcman is a little different. It has 6 colors, but each line has its own color. You can't switch that. So you're pretty much always gonna have yellow on the top, white on the next, green, so on and so forth. So that's that can be kind of nice. It's a little bit different from what you might see. So once again, SportsBot is 1, DBPOWER has 3, Woddo has 7, Hcman has 6, but the Hcman is a little different in that all 6 are on at once pretty much. Based on the scheme, which I'll go over in a bit. So if you're looking for one that has a lot of variety, then you might like either Hcman or Woddo since it has more options. However, since Hcman can only be all 6 at once like this, you might prefer the Woddo since it can switch between colors. Next, I would like to go over the fact that Hcman does not have a number keypad on the side, unlike the other 3. However, since it doesn't have a number keypad, it is smaller. So there you go. It's like if you want a number keypad, you might want to go for one of the other 3. Hcman, you might want it because it's smaller. It'll be easier to transport with you. Alright, now for what a lot of you might care about, which is which ones are mechanical, which ones are not. The Hcman is the only one that is mechanical. However, there are pros and cons for that. People say it works better when gaming and typing because you don't press the key all the way down. You only press it when you hear the click, and then whatever you did, pretty much whatever you press will happen. Of course, that takes a while to get used to because it can make a pretty big difference, but it's weird hearing a clicky sound every single time. But like most of these keys on all these keyboards, you don't really need to press it all the way down for the action to happen. So that's where Hcman, it'll do the click before it's all the way down and it'll let you know that you've done the action. However, since it does make that click sound, people don't sometimes like that. It can be kind of annoying. That's where the other 3 are a little bit better. They don't make the click sound. Hcman's clicky sound can get a little bit annoying, but if you put on headphones while gaming, you won't even notice, really. But then that defeats the purpose of the clicky sound, which is to let you know when you've pretty much pressed it. However, you can also kind of feel it, a little depression whenever you press it. I would like to point out, though, for a mechanical keyboard, the Hcman is a very good price. It's hard to find a mechanical keyboard at such a good price point. Now for my next point, which is kind of like a pattern or scheme that each colors of the backlight colors can do. So the SportsBot does a breathing effect, and since it only has blue, it can only do it with the blue. So I'll go ahead and turn that on so you can see it breathe as the video keeps going. Then we have the DBPOWER, which since it has 3 colors, it actually breathes alternating colors. So I'll go ahead and start that one up, and you can view that as it goes. Woddo, on the other hand, can do both. It can do just a single breathe, which it's doing right now, which all you have to do is like that, and that's how you would also switch the colors for when you want to switch which color is breathing. However, it also does alternating breathing, just like the DBPOWER, which I'll leave going like that. Hcman though is a little bit different, which I kind of like its pattern a little bit more. How it works is it has multiple patterns. So right now it's full on, then it can do just the normal breathing like all the others, but it breathes all the colors at once. Then it's this one's kind of cool, it just lights up whichever key you press. The next one it has is an outward pulse, where if you press something, it'll pulse outward from that spot. The one after that is just kind of a snaking pattern towards a corner. After that, it's just a snaking pattern, like pretty much like a snake. And then going down towards the corner, it'll light up in a row kind of going both ways. Next one is an outward shot. The next one would be pretty much a spiral going straight down. And then it's just off. And then back all of them are back on, which, you know, is just normal. So I wanted to do a quick close-up of the Hcman so I could show you a little cool function you can do with it. So you can actually do your own customs for the background. So let me go and show you how to do that. So here's custom 1. I'm gonna go ahead and change that. So I'm on custom 1, press function record, and now I can literally press whichever keys I want to have light up. So let's say like for a certain game you like to have only these keys light up, so that way they stand out more. Then you press function and record again, and then only those will light up. You can have up to 3 set, so something like that. So you can have up to 3 set. That's a really nice feature. You can't do that with any of the other keyboards, so that can come in really handy, especially if you don't want to be like distracted with the other keys when you're playing. I know sometimes I lose my finger placement while I'm playing, so this way I'll know, I'll just look down at the keyboard, I'm like, oh yeah, these are where my fingers need to be, don't need to waste time looking for it. Those little seconds can make a pretty big difference when you're playing a game. Alright, so now for brightness, I would say Hcman is the brightest. DBPOWER seems like it'd be the next brightest, at least if you're looking at it from an angle, the sides look a little bit brighter. Woddo would probably be third. It doesn't light up on the sides right here like Hcman and DBPOWER's does, which I kind of like that better about these two. And then SportsBot would be least brightest, just because it is a little dimmer. Next we have number of keys. So all of them except Hcman have 104 keys, Hcman has 87, and actually SportsBot has 10 extra keys for multimedia, so it really has 114, and the extra keys does mean it has to be a little bit bigger. I always get the question which one types fastest. Of course, the Hcman you should be able to type a little faster because it does have the Clicky Sound, which is supposed to increase your speed while typing. However, the other 3 are pretty much exactly the same. When I type with any of them, I get almost the exact number of characters per second. Hcman, I only get a few extra characters per second because I am starting to get used to the clicky sound, which does make it a little faster for me. Alright, so now for the bottoms, which I'm sure most of you don't really care that much about, but I thought I'd go over it anyways. So right here we have the Woddo. It doesn't have a kickstand, which kind of bothers me. However, it is slightly elevated, maybe about half an inch, a little bit less. It has these nice grips in 5 spots, and these grips I would say are the strongest out of all of them, mainly because there are 5 of them, unlike all the other ones. The Hcman has a kickstand, 2 kickstands of course, which don't have grips on them. It does have this slight elevation here if the kickstands are not being used. And then it has these 2 bigger grips, which are about as equal as these in strength, but since there are only 2 of them, it's not as helpful if the kickstands are off or on. DBPOWER has the kickstands as well, which I really like. It has 4 of the grips, but they're not very strong. And of course, when you have the kickstand up, only these 2 would really be working. It is slightly elevated too, about the same amount as this one, a little bit more maybe. So even if you don't have the kickstands up, it is slightly elevated. SportsBot has 2 grips. It's probably about equal to DBPOWER in strength of the grips. It also has the kickstands, which are a little smaller, but they do the job. I will say also, while I'm on this point, based on how thin they are, I would say probably the Woddo's like base is thinnest, not including the keys. Hcman's is probably not. It's probably the thickest, honestly. DBPOWER is probably the 2nd thinnest, and SportsBot is the 3rd thinnest. So if you're also looking for just a thin base in general, I would say Woddo first, DBPOWER 2nd, SportsBot 3rd, Hcman 4th, because Hcman's base is actually really thick. But then also, if we're talking about just overall width, probably SportsBot is the thinnest, and then DBPOWER, then Hcman, and then Woddo. being the thickest overall, including the keys. Alright, so those are the main differences that I felt were important to mention. I'm just going to give you my personal thoughts about each keyboard and why I rank each one where I do. So here we have the SportsBot. It is placed number 4 on my list, and the reason it is last is mainly because of 2 reasons. It only has one backlight color, and it's pretty big. The keys also don't have the best feel to them, however the design on the sides are very nice. The grips on the bottom are also pretty good, and it has a kickstand. All the multimedia buttons are also separate. You might wonder, why would I buy the keyboard when it is last on my list? Well, that's because it comes in a bundle with a gaming mouse and a gaming headset. So that's a pretty big deal. For only being $29.99 for all 3, that's pretty great. However, my ranking is solely based on the keyboard. Otherwise, this would be much higher on my list. My number 3 choice is DBPOWER, and the only reason it came in 3rd is, well, it was kind of hard, honestly. It was a really close second, but it has fewer backlight colors, which is kind of my main reason. However, the 3 colors it does have are very nice to look at. The keys feel nice, definitely better than the Woddo and the SportsBot. But it is a bit smaller, which some people than the Woddo, not by much, just a little bit, which can be a pretty big difference for some people. It has a nice kickstand, but the grips on the bottom aren't especially strong. My number 2 choice, which was kind of a tough choice, as I said, it was toss up between Woddo and DBPOWER, and Woddo won out on this mainly because of the 7 color choices for the backlight. That's a lot. That's more than all the other ones. That's more than the Hcman even. It also has 2 types of breathing patterns. The keys feel decent, and the keyboard has a nice look to it overall, except for the little spot kind of right over here. I just don't really like how much it stands out. It doesn't have a kickstand, which kind of bothers me, but it is elevated and has strong grips on the bottom. My number 1 choice is the Hcman, of course. This is because the cool backlight, the schemes and patterns you can do, being able to have custom light schemes, as well as being a mechanical keyboard, especially at such a low price. It is a steal, however it does lack the ability of being able to only be 1 color backlight. It doesn't have the extra keys such as a number pad, but without the number pad it does reduce the size considerably, and it does weigh the least as well. Alright everyone, that's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. The link to these products are in the description below, as well as links to much more detailed reviews of the keyboards individually that I made. I did more of a general overview of these keyboards here. If you have any questions, leave a comment below or tweet me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for joining me.